The Andalusian cities of Seville and Cordoba showcase a grand era of Spanish history when it was both conquered and the conqueror. Medieval Cordoba was the capital of Moorish Spain from the 8th century, after Islamic tribes from North Africa had invaded the Iberian Peninsula. They created a sultanate that lasted 400 years. The Mosque in Cordoba, the grand mosque in the heart of the old town, is a World Heritage Site and an exquisite example of Moorish religious architecture. Originally built by Emir Abdul Rahman in 784 on the site of a church, it was expanded by Abd al-Rahman III, who declared himself Caliph of the Iberian Peninsula in 929. Covering an area of almost 15,000 square feet, the giant prayer hall was divided into 11 naves by lines of two-tier arches striped in red brick and white stone. It was one of the largest mosques in the world, a powerful expression by the Iberian Caliphate of independence from the Umayyad dynasty, which ruled the Muslim world from Damascus and Baghdad. Medieval Cordoba was home to Muslims, Christians and Jews, and it can still be glimpsed today in the winding alleys of the old Jewish quarter. At its heart, an ancient synagogue, where one found Jewish sages like the theologian Maimonides, whose magnus opus, the Mishnah Torah, systemizes all of Jewish law. Soon after the Moors were driven out, the Inquisition rose up, and Jews tolerated under Islam were driven out too, or killed, the victim of a bloody and barbarous witch hunt by inquisitors. When the Spanish overthrew the Muslim Moors in 1236, rather than demolish this magnificent building at its heart, they simply moved in, erecting shrines to Christian icons still here today. In Seville, the Alcazar, built on the ruins of a 10th century Moorish fort, suffered a similar fate. When the Moors were defeated here by Christian monarch Alfonso III in 1248, it set in train a series of redesigns over the next 100 years, which created this magnificent palace and created a wholly unique style known as Mujja, which blended Muslim and Christian designs and motifs. It was Pedro I, who had a long-standing alliance with the Emir of Granada, Muhammad V, who built the Alhambra Palace, who was chiefly responsible for this collaboration. Many of Muhammad's best artisans were used in its construction. Later Spanish rulers added to the original palace, giving the royal complex a more Castilian feel, although there remains a strong Moorish influence to this extraordinary World Heritage Site. Moorish influences can still be seen across Seville, including its medieval Torre de Oro watchtower, built by the Almohad dynasty on the banks of the Rio Guadalquivir in the 13th century. Seville's massive cathedral, the world's largest, is itself a former mosque. Its giant bell tower, the Giralda, used to be a minaret, constructed between 1184 and 1198 at the height of Almohad power. Nowadays, the cathedral is home to many Spanish icons, including, it's said, the bones of Christopher Columbus. It was from Seville's river waterway that Columbus and other Spanish explorers and conquistadors set sail to a new world of unimaginable riches, and to where they returned with galleons laden with treasure. Aged and sick priests who helped convert the natives of the New World to Christianity were housed on their return to Seville, here in beautiful surroundings in retirement hospices, which celebrated the triumphs of the Christian faith. As to the treasure, it was brought here to a giant archive where it was both stored and counted. Nowadays, the building houses 5 miles of shelves containing 80 million documents, the records of 400 years of Spanish conquest of the Americas, and the portraits of those that played a key role in colonizing and exploiting the New World. This once Moorish city remains strongly Castilian today. Its bullring is Spain's oldest, built in 1761, still privately owned by a military corporation whose founders played such a key role in the history of this imperial city.